Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. I am with Sage News, Eric from Sage News, that is, and we're going to be talking about an upcoming famine. And this isn't a joke. We are getting very close to what I believe is a worldwide famine and hyperinflation in food costs. And Eric's got some great stories for us. So Eric, take it away.
Yeah, actually, I've been diving into a bunch of news articles, and it all started with a tweet that I got that countries are now starting to become preppers. They are actually banning exports of foods, and I wanted to get this out because I did a quick video on it because this is it, man. This is when countries start to say we're not sending out extra food because we're worried about our people eating. So it seems to be starting around March 11th, which will be tomorrow, and going for at least 3 months, a lot of these countries. And I pulled up a bunch of articles, which I'm going to share real quick here.
Perfect. And as you're sharing them, people, I want you to understand that our country is not in that position right now to start making these mandates. If you remember a while back, China made a announcement to all of its corporations after it went through that massive power surge. And it says, we want you to secure supplies at any cost, any and all costs, so that we do not go through a shortage of energy again, right? And that caused prices to go reeling upwards because they knew that they needed to take care of themselves first. And what is happening is countries are getting hit with inflation so rapidly that one thing a government can do, if they see trouble ahead, even if it's not food related, if you could keep the food from being exported, you drive down the price of food. If we did that here, we would drive down the price of food because there would be so much more competition for growers to get their stuff into the grocery stores. So I don't see that happening here. So Eric, jump back in.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, and I just pulled up, it started with obviously Ukraine and the situation that they're in, that they banned exports of wheat, oats, and other food staples. But it's also now other countries are starting to follow suit. I'm starting to see Pakistan has, let me pull Pakistan one. So Pakistan is also banning this wheat and foods. I've got Russia now banning fertilizer to non-friendly countries, which is a big deal. They're a big provider of fertilizer. And when I pull this up, Egypt has even banned wheat and flour and these from being exported. So it's one thing when you start to see, people saying, hey, prepping and stuff like that. But when you actually start to see countries make these same decisions that they're going to ban exports of food, that's a big deal. That's a telltale sign that we have some serious, serious consequences coming real soon.
Yeah. Now I want to bring something up. I just pulled up a story right here, and this is entitled Wheat. You got to love the wheat prices plunge in Chicago with global stockpiles rising. That's not the whole story. The other day, Morgan Stanley, I believe it was, I could be wrong on the brokerage, they halted trading in Chicago of corn, wheat, and I believe soybeans because they were skyrocketing up. They said, you cannot buy, no more buying, right? That produces a lot of selling. Now, of course, the next day, the headlines are saying, hey, it's plunging, right? That's not the whole story. People are buying up these futures. That is why the costs are rising. And it's causing a false narrative. I want people to understand right now, the reason why these futures are being bid up is because investors know where we are headed. First off, we're in a cyclical commodity bull cycle. All right. It has just begun this year, and you're going to see commodities of all types in a multi-year upward trend. The problem is that causes higher prices. All right. And traders are trying to jump ahead and start getting ahead of this, regardless of the war story. All right, Eric, keep going.
Gotcha. So like I said, I just pulled that one up. So basically, we're at a point now between shipping and the pricing of moving this freight and these pullbacks, we could absolutely see an implosion in regards to goods and supply and demand and the shipping portion of this. So for me, if you haven't gotten your stuff, you're really running out of time to try to get some of the stuff.
Yes. Now that's a great point. Look, we want to bring you the truth and the news, not to scare you, but to prepare you. It is so easy right now, guys, to go down to the store. And I'm not joking. I have a coupon clipper right now. I could literally find the sales today and go, well, that's something I would eat today or a month from now. And that, canned good is good for X amount of years, right? And this is the time to go get it. And I got to be honest with you, Mrs. Ninja for some time was always frustrated. Like, what are we going to do with all this food? It's just stacked up here. And we've slowly rotated through it, but we've always maintained, 5 or 6 months worth of food, and especially in times where, hey, sure, I'll eat less, I'll lose weight. It'll be great, right? We call it the Joe diet, essentially. Yeah, that's what my buddies call it. That's what Chris at Financial Fitness calls it. And my point being is that it's so easy right now. Okay. The masses haven't moved in, but I am concerned that pretty soon they are going to start getting really scared, and you are going to see barren shelves. That's not to get you scared. It's to prepare you and get you stoked.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as I said, get your stuff now while it's there. Like I said, it don't go bad.
Yeah. Now let me throw out another thing, guys. You guys all know that Eric owns his own company, right? He went from being a truck driver to being a freight broker. And I love that kind of stuff. We just got back from the Ninja Nation event, and there were so many people that said since watching the channel, they'd started a business. And not only does that just make me feel amazing and super excited, but it's also, there's a level of fear, right, Eric? When you own your own business, you're watching, like, what are you watching with your business as things are like concern you?
Well, the biggest thing to understand when you go from a business is the conversion from being an employee to an employer mentality, right? So that scary thing to go from money guaranteed coming in to having to go earn your own money and be responsible for that, getting that own money. So it's one of those things that it takes some time to make that transition. But once that transition starts to go, it does get easier and easier. But that first step, that first scare thing is you want to start to think as an employer rather than an employee and make those jumps.
Well, now, as you've made that jump, now you know things are crashing, right? And these shipping rates can only go up so high until it breaks the system, right? Rents can only go up so high till you break the renter. So have you ever sat back and go, look, I could very well, half my business just evaporate, right? But have you also looked at the positives of that?
Yeah, and a lot of times, like I said, where one thing fails, it's about adapting to your situation. As long as you can kind of adapt, like the things that you do during the good times should help you get through the slow times, right? So that's the first thought process.
I'm going to take it further. Tell me some things that you have identified. What are some dreams, some things you're excited for when the economy collapses? I know it's a crazy question, but people need to talk this through. What is some things that you've sat back? And if you don't have anything, I'll share.
Well, the biggest thing, one of the things too, is that when it's funny too, because the knowledge and stuff that I've gained in the industry I was able to tell my customers and help them prepare, right? Or other people's weren't. So as my customers learned from me and my knowledge in this, they were able to stay afloat and see this stuff coming, where that kind of allows me an edge that I've almost worked my way into their business, where I became an essential part of their business. So as other things go down, and they're going to, unfortunately, other companies that might not have hired someone like me that has been in this are going to fall, and they're still going to stand because I was able to get them the information they needed to stay ahead too.
So you're probably going to elevate your position with that company.
Correct. And that's a lot of times is knowing this stuff and taking the information that we're giving you, if you do have customers, and being able to share that with your customers locks you in. Yeah. That they don't want to get rid of you.
Another thing that you probably have never thought about, Eric, and I'm just going to say this now because I think it's important for people to really think big. You're going to have the ability to buy other brokerages.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be zero premium on them. It's literally like, I'm failing. If you can come in and help me, you will literally be able to walk into other brokerages and say, look, I'm going to help you build your company, and any dollar over X, what you think you're making right now, I own 50% of, and I'm going to help you build your company. And you'll be able to walk into companies for zero down and negotiate a 50% ownership and stake in it, because you're going to take them from zero to hero. Because you were already prepared. You had a clear mind, while these other company owners are losing their minds because they're way leveraged. They have car payments, house payments, truck payments, and you're gonna be able to walk in and go, I'm gonna negotiate, I'm gonna consult for you, and I'm gonna have an ownership stake in it, and I'm gonna crush it for you. Have you ever thought of that?
Absolutely. Well, not as much for me, but it's a good idea. And I also see that in the trucking industry. A lot of these truck drivers that bought their truck at the peaks, at the big times, well, when these times come down, it's going to be a lot of empty trucks. And at that point, you can build a fleet if you are a carrier.
That's exactly right. I want people to start thinking bigger. And even if you're not in the trucking industry, guys, start thinking about that in your own lives. Start thinking big. There's no joking going on around here. If you are prepared, you're not scared, and you are going to absolutely crush it in your field. You just have to have the confidence to be able to get there. Well, how do you get the confidence? You get around good people that have the can-do attitude. They're the optimists and the ones that try and aren't led by fear. They're led by goal setting. Does that make sense, Eric?
Absolutely. And in the short interview, Ninja just taught me something. Look at that. Didn't even expect it.
You've just been ninja'd.
Bam.
Bam. Well, how's this, guys? On that note, I think it's probably a good time to leave, but I want to thank Eric. Guys, check out his channel. He's awesome. Eric's the one bringing me these news articles. When I'm racing around, I told him earlier, the world is changing so much. It's like you got to put out 4 videos, 5 videos a day because there's so many different topics of things that are changing, and that should excite you. But if it is scaring you, use the fear as motivation to go out right now, get some extra food, get your money diversified out of dollars. And guys, let's get ready to rock this thing.
Absolutely.
Eric, thank you so much for coming on, man. You're awesome.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, the Economic Ninja is out.